Well, it seems like freedom of speech is dead in my country, and I've been waiting for 24 hours to record this video. So for those of you who are not in the loop somehow, well, basically it's this. Count Dankula'd, YouTuber, comedian, Scotsman, has been declared guilty in a court of law with no jury and just nothing more than a triggered judge and his prosecution. Yeah, wasn't trying in front of his peers. I wonder why. I mean, here's Scotland and most of them are cooked to the left, but there's no way that they would have looked at this if they had a jury and went, oh, yeah, that's going to create more Nazis, isn't it? That's definitely because he's a Nazi. He solely did that to spread National Socialism, even though we already are under a National Socialist government. In case you don't know, the Scottish Parliament is currently run by the SNP, the Scottish Nationalist Party, who are currently, they used to be more libertarian, but now they are socialist. And just so some of you know, this isn't a Scotland-wide problem, this is a UK-wide problem. Yes, Scotland didn't declare independence, they wanted to stay with the Union. And although there's some differences between our laws, they tend to be very old laws or kind of new, but it's pretty much the same. The free speech over there is as bad as it is over here in England. I can't fathom why somebody would think that this is actually something worth jail time. I mean, gross offensiveness. I mean, I keep seeing people writing articles saying he's been done for a hate crime. Well, they're not even saying he was done for a hate crime. They're just saying he was being offensive. He's going to jail because he was offensive. He did a joke where a pug did a Nazi salute. I guess that's offensive, but it's just so stupid and so... Well, I thought it was funny, but it's just so absurd that there's just no way that could actually be considered offensive. It's too absurd. It's a pug doing a Nazi salute, a paw. I guess now I'm going to go to jail for doing that, eh? The only reason he's going to jail is because the Scottish Parliament, because, well, in many cases, the British government overall wants to make an example out of people like this. They are trying to, in many ways, I would say, distract us from the real issues here. Maybe they're even trying to tell us not to talk about the real issues here. This is what happens when you joke about issues that we don't like. This is what happens when you make jokes that we feel uncomfortable with, because it undermines them. I think the Scottish Parliament know that they're National Socialists. Maybe not to the extent that Hitler was, but that's basically what they are. I mean, I guess they're racist to the Anglos, and that's about it. But regardless, they don't like the idea that anybody should be able to make jokes like this, because it can be used against them. It can be used to expose things. Jokes like this can be used for a joke about Telford and about Rotherham and about other things that the British police and the British government are incapable of solving. Also, it's another way of saying, well, this may be a joke that we're prosecuting, but if you say something that we don't like and which we deem to be hate speech, then you will essentially be put into jail. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. This is a warning to all British citizens, to all the subjects, that if you do that, if you do what Dankula'd did or Tommy Robinson did, you're going to jail. Wrong think is not allowed. This is what it is. This is the precedent that they're setting. He was purely arrested by the government to be made an example of. There was nobody complaining about this. There may have been people who found it offensive online, but they didn't complain to the police. They found him. Which is why we must ignore these warnings to some extent and go and protest, because I think the time for action is now. And I think we really need to get off our asses and actually try to do something before we literally cannot say anything else other than praise for the glorious leaders that currently run our country. You know, I can take the smug SJWs, I could take people like that fucking history teacher on bloody Twitter, Mike was his name, not a Music Man Mike, but another one, who was arguing with Ricky Gervais. I could take that shit, but I can't take smug Americans basically saying that, oh, our country's better than yours, we've got free speech, why don't you come over? Ha, so much for, you know, looking down on us. Like, no, fuck off. The time's not for that now. The time is for action. The time is for support. And just, you know, less of that tribal bullshit. We don't need that. A man is going to jail for a joke. And our rights are going down the drain. And all you can do is to go on Twitter and gloat at me. And tell me how better you are. Fuck off. It'll be happening to you soon. Mark my words. this is going to happen everywhere. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And it's fair enough for you guys to say, oh, why don't you just come and emigrate? Yeah, I don't have the money to emigrate. Do you know how much that's going to cost? Thousands of pounds, probably. First, I've got to find a house. First, I've got to find a job. Then, I've got to find a plane ticket. Then, I've got to get someone to move my stuff to the airport. Then, I've got to move my stuff from the American airport to that house. And I've got to also apply for other things that may cost money. It's not worth it for most of us. We can't go anywhere. We're stuck. Do you not understand this, guys? Also, political asylum. We have an extradition treaty with the Americans. I personally don't think Trump's going to care about Dankula'd. I don't think he will. Why? It's nothing to do with him. Why would he say something about that? Our government didn't do anything about Snowden. Didn't do anything about any of the other political prisoners that you guys had, regardless of what you think if they're traitors or not. So I fail to see what your government is going to do for our dissidents. But anyway, regardless of that, I went on a little bit of a tangent. There's going to be a protest in London. I'll definitely try and make it. I can't say I will for certain, but I'll be there in spirit if I can't make it. It just, you know, logistics. I live 200 miles away. It's impossible sometimes for me to go everywhere. But seriously, if you can make it, go. I really recommend it. Try and get as many people to go as possible. Tell these people why you're going, why this is important. Make sure that you show Westminster, make sure you show Holyrood and all the other devolved parliaments that we need free speech. We need to overturn this ruling. We need to overturn these laws that are encroaching upon us. At the end of the day, if we don't, then they're going to steamroll everybody. They went for Dankula'd, then they'll go for other people, and eventually all that will be left is, well, it'll just be like the Stalinist Russia, isn't it, basically? That's what it's going to be. Everybody knows. I don't need to describe it to you because people watching me already know. Basically, all logic has been put aside. All common sense has been left in favour of politics, in favour of what this establishment thinks this country ought to run as. When it's pretty clear, at this point, this establishment has no idea how to run our country. No idea what is best for us. I'm not saying that we should make a revolution or something, but it's pretty clear that these people cannot be trusted to lead us. So that maybe we need a shakedown or something. I don't know. Maybe we need some new people in charge in the next election. But there's nobody we can really trust. How do we know that Mogg isn't going to cook himself? Trump has cooked himself on several issues. Corbyn cooked himself the moment he got bloody an ounce of power and treats every failed election as a victory. And he's all in favour of this bullshit. The SNP are basically his fuck buddies, so there's that. There is no viable political party. We have to create our own, I'm afraid. And sadly, that's going to take many, many years of grassroots involvement and just campaigning in order to get people to form and join this hypothetical party. I've always told people this. If you do not have somebody that you can vote for in an election, then you're going to have to either run as an independent yourself or form your own party. That's the only way you're going to make any substantial change. And you've got to hope that people see what you're saying and vote for you. Because in case you didn't know this, people vote in patterns. Here's hoping that Marcus, who's Dankula'd, does appeal this decision. I think this is a gross miscarriage of justice. I think that we should be trying to fight this. I don't usually say that we should sign petitions because I don't think the petitions do anything. I think it's been proven that signing a petition doesn't work because the country ignores it. The government doesn't care. And I also don't think our MPs don't care either. I've actually managed to email 2 MPs about things, and none of them have done anything. One of them even said that she couldn't do anything because she's a backbencher, or she wasn't in the backbench. Like, regardless, email somebody who can, who's higher up than you. Just because you yourself can't go into Parliament and say something doesn't mean that you can't get somebody else to do it on your behalf or my behalf. Isn't that the point of representation? Apparently not. But we might as well try. We'll try the easy way first, writing to MPs, making petitions. And if that doesn't work, we'll protest. And if the protest doesn't work, well, I don't know. I guess it's only... I can't say because I might get in trouble for that. But, you know what I mean. I don't think we should abandon this country, though. I don't think I'd leave even if I had the money. I'd rather fight. There were people in this country who did fight for things and achieved it. So if they could do it, why can't we do it? Men fought for God knows 100, 200 years to get the vote to end the property franchise. Working class men. They eventually got it after most of them died during World War I, but they still got it. And even then they managed to get some concessions along the way towards that path. Hell, even women got the vote in this country through their hard work as well. Forget the suffragettes, they did nothing but cause terrorism and accidentally killed themselves at horse races. But for those suffragists and those in the women's movement who actually did achieve things, yeah, they actually worked hard, and women worked hard in the factories and as nurses and as other auxiliary units, showing that yes, they have the responsibility, they have the capabilities to have the responsibility of voting. I'm not talking about the draft or anything, because we never had a draft. You don't have to sign up to this thing to vote. I can literally just register and get a vote, Americans. If they could do it, if those guys could do it, why can't we? Why do we have to run away? Some people did run away back then. Don't get me wrong, they moved to America, they moved to Australia, they moved to New Zealand, they moved to the colonies, or former colonies. I get that. But again, the ones who stayed changed things. They worked hard. They may not have lived to see the change, but they sowed the seeds. And maybe that's what it takes. Maybe we need to be the people who plant the seeds so that the future generations we teach can make them blossom and grow into something that hopefully will remain fruitful forever. But that's not how those things work. But hopefully it will, maybe once. So anyway, till next time people, it's been your boy, and I'll see you later.